Ladies and gentlemen, listeners of the podcast, I am so excited today to welcome to the show Nicole Roufs. She is a business empowerment coach and she's a founder of Olive and Oak Business Empowerment Coaching with over 15 years of experience coaching women business owners. She's so passionate about helping them overcome business roadblocks, streamlining operations, enhancing profitability, and improving their leadership skills. So she's the package deal. With this focus, she loves to help women succeed in business and to simplify their complex processes, really giving them a sustainable growth. Some of her notable achievements, which I think are incredible, she recently helped a business that was really poised for tremendous growth, but had a complete turnover of their leadership, their management, and everything else. And she stepped into basically a building on fire and was able to make sense of it, put out many fires, probably working around the clock for several months as a fractional CEO and basically handling everything and putting systems in place like the genius that she is. She's also helped clients triple their income without increasing their workload, which I think is incredibly inspiring. I can't wait to hear more. Nicole.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
So excited to be here, Heather. So excited.
Yeah, thank you. So I met Nicole through a friend of mine who is a business badass, and Nicole, she is, and a business firestorm, if you will. And she is one of the people that Nicole has helped through her work. And Nicole also has developed what's called the MOD approach that incorporates mindset, operations, and data. I mean, and this is kind of the perfect combo. Tell me a little bit about this approach and what helped you develop it.
Such a fun question. I actually, after years of coaching all of these women, I realized like there were certain things that were helping them grow or holding them back. And so I just created this assessment and I called it the MOD because it's mindset, operations, and data. And those are the biggest things that I found in my coaching realm that move the needle forward faster. And that's what we all want, right? Like we don't want to sit in what we know and what we want to continue to move forward. So the mindset piece, every entrepreneur, it's hard. I mean, you have the ups and the downs, right?
Speak for yourself. I'm fine. I sleep like a baby.
Right? Like
say more about what you're encountering with the women business owners that you're working with in the mindset piece.
Yeah, like it's a huge piece of like, it can be up and down and all around. And because most of us are also moms or have a partner and all of the things that you do. So that mindset piece of really helping keep focused on when you need to focus and really helping a schedule along with it. So like mindset is huge on many levels, right? And keeping the fact to know that you're not alone. Like that's one of the biggest things with mindset. It's like surrounding yourself with amazing people. But then operations, like the middle part of your business, people sometimes take for granted. They're like, oh, I'm really good at what I do, so I'm going to start a business. And they have no idea all of the hats and the pieces that it really takes to make it succeed and be successful and sustainable. Mm-hmm. So I love, like, that's where I really jam is that middle part is helping people like work smarter and not harder. Because especially now, after all these years, I've been in so many businesses, I can be like, hey, let's try this, or like scrap that right away. Like we don't need to do that anymore, right? Like just really helping them with that. And then data, like I am so not an accountant. I'm not a mathy or math person by any means, but I know numbers don't lie. And a lot of business owners are too afraid to look at them or they don't know what to look at.
Burn the evidence, hide the receipts.
Right.
100%. I don't want to know. It feels good. Just let me keep doing this.
Exactly. And it's so common. However, what I found is it's so damn empowering when we just have basic stuff. Like I just get their feet wet a little bit of some of their basic numbers. I customize. I have this little spreadsheet that Sierra is actually helping me revamp, my girl from you at Spark. So yay, we'll talk about that.
So you're learning to be more efficient as we speak. Okay, keep going.
I am actually. And so being able to just help them track those certain things that help move the needle forward because numbers, like I said, numbers don't lie. And so often business owners don't want to look at the things, but you have to make some educated decisions. And now that I've coached a bunch of women for years, like being able to see the trends and be able to see like, where should you actually put your marketing dollars and when, what is your best use of this time, if it's typically a slow time, or like there's just so much that you can tell. And when you can come from an empowered place instead of a scarcity, scared, I don't want to look at it place, like it goes leaps and bounds. In fact, one of my favorite clients, I think we've been coaching for 2 years now. She's one of my biggest, they collect so much money, but she didn't want to look at it. She didn't want to know. And she's like, no, like it's just overwhelming.
Was she afraid she wasn't making enough? Or was she just thinking like, I don't know how to make sense of what's coming in and what's going out, so I'm just going to let it keep going?
Yep. She just didn't want to even deal with it. She's like, I have too many hats. I have too many staff. I have too many things. I just don't want to deal with it. And I was like, okay. So we just started with like 3 main things. And then she slowly was like, oh, so we were able to add some more. And to the point now where she's like, I just feel like when things would get quiet, like they would go in feast or famine mode, they'd be really busy. And then it would get really quiet. And she's like, now when it gets really quiet, she's like, I know like it's our time to gear up. She's like, because our collections have told me historically this year, we're fine. She's like, we're not making money. Okay. She's like, so that's part of that. So just really, again, not an accountant. I will never be an accountant. I don't pretend to be anything like that, but I do know enough to be dangerous and what it takes to help a business be successful with that stuff. So that's how my MOD assessment came alive. It just was a way for me to gauge people's progress. So I have them take this assessment, which is free on my website. Anybody can take it. And it just gives you a little idea of where you're at. And it breaks down percentages of where you're at in each category. Because to me, you want to have sustainability in all categories. So if one's really off, we have to start there. So that was a really long answer, my dear.
Well, I like long answers because I like the details, and I think that's really helpful. I think you describe so many people I work with in my businesses that they want to burn the evidence. They don't want to look at it. Mm-hmm. And I say something kind of similar, and that is that you said numbers don't lie. I say facts don't have feelings.
Ooh, oh, I'm writing that down. That's good.
Facts don't have feelings and numbers don't have feelings. So, I wish I could give everybody on my team a 20% raise because cost of living has gone up. But the numbers say that I have to hit certain targets or metrics before I can give them a bonus. So my numbers don't have any feelings. They don't care. And you might be my best friend and you might have worked for me for 20 years. But if you aren't producing, if your KPIs aren't there, I can't give you something different than what you're getting. It's interesting. It also helps us know where we're missing pieces or where we could do better. So I love that. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
With that kind of idea, you're talking about mindset. How important do you think mindset is when it comes to scaling a business? And if it is pretty important, how the heck do you suggest cultivating a growth-focused mindset? Or how can someone work with that if they haven't really even thought about it much yet, or they don't know how to get control of it? Tell me, what are your practical ideas for someone in that position?
Honestly, the first thing that comes to mind is surrounding yourself with people that are going to help you think differently or do things differently than what you've done. So you got to get yourself in some rooms or some groups or some things that allow you to have a growth environment around you. Because if you are surrounded by, I'm actually in my mastermind right now, we're reading Growth Mindset, or it's just called Mindset, actually.
Mindset.
I don't have it here. Have you read it by Carol Dweck?
Carol Dweck, yeah.
Oh, it's so good. I don't know where I've been under a rock this whole time. But to really think about, we get so stuck in that certain ways. So really having a growth mindset in what you can do and how you can be is huge. I love to read. I'm a nerd with all of that. I've always I don't have my bachelor's. I don't have this major MBA in business. My whole thing is I worked my way up. I started literally at the front desk of a clinic and was asked to be part owner and all of the things. So that's how I started my journey. And it was because I knew that there was more and I just wanted to grow. And I don't know. It's a weird trajectory of how things are with business, but I really feel surrounding yourself with people is the biggest thing. And also I'm a continual learner. I always want to, did you know I was an esthetician? I don't know if we talked about this.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that was actually my first lifetime. I know. I was I bet we didn't even talk about it.
Okay.
So I started out as an esthetician after high school. It was my thing for obviously a while. And then I ended up in the holistic health space and business space. And so you have that trajectory. So I just share that because I'm I know there's different industries and different people and things that, okay, so I'm getting off track a little bit. We're going to edit that piece out. But if we think
I love it. This is fine. We'll talk. So you're talking about growth mindset
Yeah.
and how to cultivate a growth mindset.
Yeah.
That's what you sounds like you're going down a path of describing your commitment and passion for continued growth and always learning.
Because you asked me like, yeah, what would people say or do? So I would say, yeah, finding the right people, right? Like, and really just also part of it is being so concrete in what you're doing and knowing what you want to do and having, because I would say fuzzy targets don't get hit. So I think as a business owner, if we don't
Unless
have
it's a rabbit and you're hunting for rabbits, but never mind.
I love you. 100%. But you know what I mean? Like if you're not concrete in where you're going, you're not going to get there. So like your mindset can be a, can I swear, fuckery? If you're not concrete, I mean, I think we know like what we should be doing, but we get so lost in all of the in between that you also have to be anchored down. And to me, as I'm talking through this, is like my morning routine and my centeredness and really like making sure that I am not hitting the ground running with a million things in my head, where if I can just center and prioritize, like that helps my mindset. And I find with my clients too, a lot of the time.
Okay. So let's talk about centering, because that is a new concept to some people, others who've been practicing mindfulness or working on something like this. It's a thing that I love and I'm passionate about, but let's get real. As you're talking right now, I'm like, I woke up to my daughter calling me this morning because she's sick, and my day started with that being my alarm clock. So how would you, I'm brand new. Let's pretend I'm brand new at working on my mindset or centering myself at the beginning of the day. Can you give me a simple, anybody can do it. This is for no idiots are in our podcast listening viewership, but your average idiot. Okay. Somebody who's like, what does that even mean? Tell me some simple best practices that anybody can do. Someone who sucks at this stuff. Tell me, how can we center in the morning? What does that look like?
Take a few deep breaths. Honestly, like it's not that hard. When you're in the shower, clear your mind, ask what is your focus for the day, right? Like it doesn't have to take a lot of time. Like I've gone through the stages of like, same busy, like you have to be out the door at 6:30 in the morning. It's like, who has a freaking time for routine, right? Like now I've tailored my schedule because I love my mornings. I love my coffee and my journaling and my puppy. Like I can do that now, but there was many years where I couldn't. So I would say I just started with like, it might've just been like a few minutes of gratitude before I get out of bed. Like, I think that's a huge piece too. Like, hey, thank you for this day. Thank you for this. Like, take a deep breath and start your day. Okay. Right? Like really in that piece. I also think the shower is a really underutilized place for some of that. Yeah. And you just really think and be intentional.
A friend I was talking to yesterday actually said that is a place where they were describing the feeling of being disembodied, not really being in touch with their own self and like really not identifying with their physical aspect, more their mental, and how they, in the shower, they'll just like try to just be present with the feeling of water on their skin. And I was like, that's a really beautiful meditation practice. Right? Something simple, like you said. I mean, let's hope. I don't care if you're an average idiot listening to this podcast. We don't believe that any of you are. No. But we hope that you at least shower and have basic hygiene. So you could be an average human without a meditation practice, but please tell me you're at least an average human who showers every day. If you shower, you can breathe and feel water on your skin and say one thing you're grateful for. And is that simple?
I think so. I mean, to me, right? Like it's baby steps, because then you can go and grow as you do. But really, like having a good mindset is also being intentional, because as entrepreneurs, as human beings, even take out entrepreneur, like there's a lot coming at us all day, every day. And to me, it's vital. It's vital that you have a little bit of that centering and focus and attention for your day, because otherwise your day is going to happen to you and not the other way around. I always say I want to help people create a business that they control and doesn't control them.
Okay, I really like that. And you touched on a point when you talked about some of us hit the ground running, or I even referenced my daughter calling me because she was sick this morning. I'm out of town and, we're on different time zones, but cock-a-doodle-doo, I'm awake because my child has the flu.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
And her competent and loving father is with her. But, sometimes you just want to call your mom and tell her you're sick.
You need your mama, 100%.
Oh, and sometimes your mom just wanted to sleep in. Anyway, so to that point, as someone who coaches specifically women business owners, what are some of the common challenges you see them face? Like, these are obstacles that are unique to women specifically that you work with. What are you seeing as those common challenges, and how do you help them overcome them?
This is one of the things that actually started me out as a coach, because the clinic that I owned, we were all women business owners, or all women, and most of us had kids. And so at the time I had teenage kids, and it was super important to me that we could be badass at what we were doing, but that we could also honor and have time at home. And I feel like so often that is one of the hardest things as women business owners, because you have to be all or nothing, right? Like you see these people and then they make it look easy because they're like, oh, I have this multi-billion-dollar business and all these things. And then you see them on Instagram with just their kids and you're like, how are you doing it? Right? Like I feel like there's so much convoluted information, but my heart was really, how can I create an environment for my team and for these women that we can work hard and play hard, right? And so that's where I think I really got driven by the operations, the middle part of the business, because if you're efficient at what you do and how you're doing it, it doesn't bleed into your home life. You can go home. You don't have to check emails. You don't have to, I mean, you can, and you probably will. I mean, we all kind of have that thing, but it doesn't have to be this fire that you have to be putting out. It can be like, oh man, like I want to get back to this person because I can. So if you can really create a business that feels good for your nervous system, like that is the jam. And I know it's easier said than done, but it's not hard. And that's where I think, like, that's why I started, this is so random, but my immersion weekends, like I take people away. They usually fly here for 2 days and we work on their business because there's so much pieces that need to be done and have to happen. Like you think about, you start your day with your daughter calling you, right? Like, and then you have to get ready, you have to do a thing. Now you're on a podcast with me, and then you have staff and you have your company and you have all these things, all this stuff that sometimes we don't take the time to complete the things that are going to move the needle forward for our business.
Yeah. I think that's so important. This is immersion weekend you're talking about. What is that experience like and what does that usually entail?
It is where I call it like business in a box, really. Like it can be, I've done them for people where they're just starting out in business and they're like, they don't really know where they're going or what they want, but they have all of the ideas and the things, and we put the puzzle piece together for them.
Cool.
Or it's people that are scaling and they're like, I have done this and now what's next? So we sit through and we think about we have a strategic game plan of what can you do to get to that next level. And I just did one a month or two ago, where she was just in utter chaos. She just she hadn't taken the time to get up to date on some of the new things because she was so just in her business day to day. And she was so overwhelmed with all of the things that she's like, I can't even breathe. And so, we booked it like 6 months out because like her schedule was busy and mine, like, and so, but that weekend,
like that is probably in desperate need of it yesterday, but she had to wait for 6 months to get in. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but it was so beautiful. And we had just an after call yesterday and she's like, I can't even believe how much better I feel. She literally was like, I feel like a smooth oiled machine. It's because we got all of those things done that you feel like, it's like when you go to a seminar, like we've all gone to these and it's rah and it's so good. And you're like, that sounds really good. You go home, you go to bed, and then you go to work on Monday and your notes get thrown away.
Yep.
Right? Like you're just like,
pretty much most people.
Right. And that's where I was like, no more. That's where I'm like, I want women to be able to have that balance and all of that stuff. So, and I've done coaching weekly for people, but what I found is this is also, and not that everybody has to do a weekend away, but if you can spend a few focused hours on these things and just put it in your calendar and really be like, this is what's going to move the needle forward. Because you can't always be in crisis control.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're going to burn out and that's a whole nother subject. Right. But
so pausing for long enough to make a game plan to become more, you used a word I'm very fond of, efficient.
Yeah.
So basically, what's this? Efficient AF. It's my favorite.
That's amazing.
I used to joke and it's not true. I think connection and relationship is the entire purpose of life, right? Growth, connection, love, right? But I joke in a non-joking way that the only purpose of life is to be efficient. Maximum efficiency is the purpose of this existence. Not really. I'm not that bad. But efficiency is one of my love languages. So you're talking about efficiency. So in your experience and the people you've worked with, what are the most effective ways to streamline operations for a small business or to increase efficiency? You've mentioned taking a long enough pause to work on your business. In addition to that, what else would you suggest?
Actually knowing where you're going, right? Like having a strategic plan, because I think people throw spaghetti against the wall. So really knowing like, where do you need to go, right? And having the right people on your team. Like honestly, Spark is amazing because you guys have the tools, the people that can help get where you need to go. And that's where I think people so often underutilize people on their team that can help them. Because, and I know your mission with Spark, because like it is the whole thing. You want to be in that leader business role and leading the team, you can't be doing all the roles. And so I think so often, just because people can, they do take on all of the roles, and that's the biggest way to sabotage. And you're not going to.
Well, what would you say? Because I think most small businesses, and I might just be speaking for myself and the people that I know, but you might have seen this as well. So many people seem to, they don't do it because they think that they have to, as much as like in the beginning, that's just how it develops. Like they don't have a full team. They don't have processes yet. Like sometimes people's businesses start almost on accident, and they sort of like grow into this space where they started
100%.
doing everything. And pretty soon they're like, wait, I need people on my team, but I haven't figured out how to delegate, or I don't have, I'm not sure what I need to assign to somebody else. So I think sometimes this happens to us. Like you said, make sure you're happening to your business, not the other way around. Right.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like, it just sort of like morphs without us knowing. But I love, like you talked about how to utilize a team. Do you train people strategically how to build a team or utilize a team? Is that something
I do?
You can
I
help us
love
do?
it. Yeah. It's my favorite thing on the planet, because you just said, you actually nailed that piece of, you want to, but you don't know. Like you came in, like let's just use hairstylist. You start a business because you're a good hairstylist. You don't know all of the things. You don't know what you don't know with leading, right? Like, and that's
I'm really
where
good at hair. I love hair. Oh,
right?
come on.
Which is every single client that I've ever had. Like nobody is like, I'm going to start a business and then I'm going to like take this side class to like learn something. Like, no, it comes out of, have you read the E-Myth?
I have not yet.
Okay. That's a good one too. Cause it just talks about like how I won't go into that one, but that's a really good book from the standpoint of like, you have to have a leader, you have to have somebody managing, and then you have to have the people doing. Okay. And I think so often when you start, you do it all, and it's great and it's admirable. And I am a big fan of every business owner should know all of the roles in their team, because I think when you get in trouble is if you don't know them either.
I should know them, but like you said, you're not an accountant. I'm not, and I never will be, but I should look at my numbers. I should understand my numbers, and I should be looking at my P&L regularly. And so like, this is something that I think a lot of people get confused on. And I want to make sure we accentuate this concept. I think you and I have a very similar passion, and we provide resources in different ways to help people in a similar position. So, as I'm like getting to know more about your bio, I'm like, oh, who knew we have a lot in common here?
We do.
We have different approaches and different tools to accomplish a similar objective. So, I think a lot of times we don't act as the CEO of our own business. We act as all of the things like you mentioned. So just because I'm never going to be an accountant, listen, hats off. Literally, I will take that hat off and give it to somebody. Hats off to the people who are the accountants in this world. I love mine, but like, I don't want to learn that. I don't need to learn that, but I do need to know how to look at my profit and loss. I do need to learn how to look at my QuickBooks or my spreadsheets to understand what's happening in my business, but I don't need to be the one who prepares them and who goes through a fine-tooth comb. I need to just look and say, this is making sense or what seems off, and get to know what's happening.
Correct.
So
absolutely,
you can help people learn how to like understand some of these things and move from the role of doing it all or drowning and not doing it all to learning how to assign people and hire the right people to help support them.
Correct. Absolutely. And I don't know why books are coming to mind, but have you read The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks?
I haven't read that either. What we're going to do actually right now, because I already wanted to do this at the end of the show, but we're doing this right this second, ma'am.
Okay.
I want to know your favorite books. Like, I'm a brand new business owner, or I'm an overwhelmed entrepreneur. I'm a coaching client of your business, and I need you to tell me, like, what are the top 5 books you need me to read? Oh
my gosh. I know. That's what I said. I'm a continual student. I love learning.
I love reading too. And I'm stoked that you're mentioning books I've heard of but haven't read.
Yep. The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. Absolutely. Because it talks about your zone of genius and really doing what you're supposed to be doing in the business. And then you delegate the rest, which is why then you need Spark too, right? Like you need to have that like piece of that puzzle. And so that is an amazing book. Joey Coleman, Never Lose a Customer Again.
Okay.
Gold. Absolute gold. I don't care what industry you're in. Like it is... if you don't take care of your people, you have nothing, right? So customer service is my biggest passion, I think, and it's again, something people take for granted. They're like, I'm really good at this. People are going to come to me. Well, only for a little bit. Like you still have to and business can be so much easier when you take care of people and they become raving fans for you.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. I'm reading Mindset by Carol Dweck right now with my mastermind. I love that.
She is exquisite. She wrote a book about parenting that I read a long time ago, Parenting the Whole Brain Child. Yeah. So she was a co-author of that book.
Okay. I love that.
It's to her work.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's so many. I mean, you can't.
Well, I think you named 3. You gave me 3.
5.
So an E-Myth. You said E-Myth.
Atomic Habits is good, but I feel like it's kind of basic, but it's still a good, like.
So someone's not used to goal setting or habits.
Yes, that would be a very good. Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That's a good classic. You can't go wrong with that one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And that's about mindset as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you have absolutely given us an amazing kickstart of 5 books, which I love. So now I want to go back to helping us, looking into the next step of what some of your work is, and that's how can a business owner use data to make informed decisions? How can you help coach somebody, or what would you suggest to any of our listeners on how they can use this data to grow and become more profitable?
Well, like I said, numbers don't lie and facts don't have feelings. That's going to be my new, I'll give you credit when I say it because I love that. That's so good. But I think
I'm going to make some t-shirts. Okay. I got a lot of t-shirts coming up for you with slogans.
I love that so much. That's so good. But really, you can just use data, like I said, in just a simple way. Get your feet wet. Like I have a few clients too that literally have like PTSD with numbers. Like they're like, I don't want to know. I can't do it. It's so like traumatizing. Like, so just really do the main things. I mean, you can do collections depending on how many, like if you're service-based industry, how many people do you see, right? Like a lot of my clients will do an offering where like they talk to somebody ahead of time and decide, am I good for your service? And then did they convert into a client, right? So just pick a couple little things that money's always the easiest, right? Like, I mean, even if you do one thing and you look back and you enter the last few years of data and you look at it on a graph, right? Like this could be the easiest thing. And you're looking at it and you're like, oh my gosh, like, let's just say, so when I started coaching, I was in Minnesota and we knew every business that I coached at that time, like summer collections went down because nobody's around. Everybody's on vacation doing all the things.
We would love to coach, but we don't coach.
Yeah. Like people are like, nope, they just were gone. So really being like, okay, so you're going to be strategic then about that time. So you can either then go, okay, so I know July is usually my slowest month of the year. Do I want to take some time off myself? Easy.
Maybe that's when you
hit the easy button,
right? Clients are.
It could be, yep. And or if you don't want that and you're like, no, I am in growth mode right now. I want to go put some marketing dollars and some energy into your business in May and June, so you don't get that lull in July.
Okay.
Right. So really just being strategic with some of those things. Same thing around Christmas time. I feel like I always promote people to take a couple weeks off at Christmas because I'm like, it's historically slow anyway, so you might as well.
Every bit, like what industry really kicks up a notch between December 20th and January 31st. The movie,
emergency vet,
emergency vet, and I'm trying to think what else, like, for the last minute shoppers out there, like basically nothing else. If you're in any other industry, like, why are you working right now?
Yeah, exactly. So that's where I think like when you can look at even just that basic collection and start to see some patterns, then you can decide, you can be like, man, do I want this? Am I going to embrace this quiet time? Or do I need to be a little bit proactive and think ahead?
I like that. So maybe these are the 2 times a year you take a vacation. Maybe these are the 2 times a year you enroll in a weekend immersion with a coach, or you take a class, or you spend time doing a deep dive in your business. I like that. Either way, it's strategic. It's not happening to you. You are the one in the driver's seat. I like that.
Absolutely. 100%.
I really like that.
Yep.
We've talked a little bit, in some of our discussions about how to really hire strategically and how to develop a team. What kind of suggestions do you have for people who are in this position listening, going, yeah, it's time for me to start outsourcing, to looking for people to support me and to delegate? What do you suggest? What kind of key qualities should you look for? Or how would someone go about expanding their business and becoming the CEO by the means of hiring? What are the first steps?
I love this so much. I'm actually creating a second program I'm collaborating with somebody called Boss Up on how to help people do this, because it's such a big piece that we don't know about or think about. But I would say to start, the biggest thing is actually figure out what you need to have done in your business, and the things that you, like, if you read The Big Leap, like what are your zone of geniuses and what are the things that you should pass off first and foremost that are draining your time? Because it can take me 2 hours to create a social media post, but I know I can hire your people and they can do it in 30 minutes, right? Okay. So like figuring what that is, or the things that like you go to start to do them and you get that lump in your stomach and you're like, I don't really want to do this. Or you push it down.
Really the thing I'm like, I don't want to do that thing. Or
right?
I keep avoiding it.
Those are probably the things that you should easily hire out first.
Okay.
And this is one of the things that I see that I just feel so compelled to say. I think it goes without saying, but it doesn't. Do not hire your mom's friend because she needs a job at this time.
Oh my God.
Do not hire your neighbor's daughter because they need a job. It sounds really good, but that is the biggest mistake that I see happen, because people will create a role then for somebody. And I always say, never do that. You create a role and then you hire in the right person that will fill that role for you. So I think like that's one of the biggest things. And we think like, oh, we're growing. Yay. Sounds good. Oh, Sally needs a job. Sure. Come on in. And oh my God, it's going to bite you in the butt. And then you're going to be mad and upset and you're going to have awkward relationships. And then you're going to be like, I don't really know what I'm doing because this is my first time being a boss, but I feel like I want to be nice, but I can't really be the leader because I kind of know them.
Okay. So that is noted, duly noted. My question for you is, it sounds like you're describing when someone's looking to hire, maybe to write a list of what they're hiring for. Like, these are the things I need to have done in my business. Mm-hmm. Maybe not hiring for a position, but hiring for make the job description based on what you need to delegate. Right?
And we have ChatGPT right now. Put everything that you want done in ChatGPT. This is one of my favorite things. I loved when Chat came out for this, because put all of the things that you ideally know that you want to hand off, right? And then you ask it to create you a job description that you can put on Indeed.
Oh, how about that?
And then you go in and you hire and you ask it to have, even can help, it can help you ask questions at the interview that will lead you to the right person. And then you can even use that same description to do a training schedule for them too. Like, it's amazing.
So what you've just shared with us is dictate to ChatGPT what tasks you're looking to unload, mm-hmm. then have it create a job posting mm-hmm. so that you can hire the right person for this. Mm-hmm. And it's probably not going to be your friend Sally's mom unless she finds it on Indeed and meets the criteria.
And she fills out an application.
And then the third step you can do in this process is have Chat create a training outline for you to onboard this person, or what kind of fill in the blank you need to do to get them ready for success within your business. Mm-hmm. Boom. That's a great way to start. So if I'm someone looking to hire my first team member, or to grow and expand my team in a certain way, this is really helpful and actionable for someone to get going on.
And one of the things I feel compelled to say too is there's certain roles that require certain personalities. And so I think as women business owners too, we're typically empathetic. We're typically like, we feel things or we want to help, right? But if you're hiring for a front desk role, you want to make sure, like, I love the Enneagram personality test. Like, anybody I interview, I make them take it, because I'm like, it just tells there's different seats on every bus that lead to different things, right? But if you're hiring for a front desk person, like, let's just say in one of my medical practices, right? Somebody that's going to be scheduling appointments, collecting potentially large sums of money, or really in charge of navigating these people's care that is important for their health, right? You don't want somebody who's very passive. You don't want somebody that will allow people to just cancel or not pay, or it's fine, we'll see you next week, right? Like, you don't want that peacemaker personality, right? But if you're hiring for social media, and you know this, you probably can speak to this way more. You've done way more hiring, my dear. So I'm not sure why I'm talking about this. I feel like let's make this a group conversation, but because you just know, like, a tech hat is different, right? And I think this is the thing too. I would tell ChatGPT, like, tell me honestly, can this role be contained by one person? Because as we start, we're like, oh, I want somebody to answer my phones. I want somebody to make me some social media posts. Oh, but they need to clean my toilet too, right? Like, you have all of these different things, but you have to be realistic in the expectation of what's the most important thing and what can they actually do really, really well without, because there is, like I said, I see so often people are like, well, they're just really nice. And I was like, they're going to be terrible at that role. You're setting them up for failure, and you're not going to succeed in helping your business grow. So
I think that's really helpful. And not to mention, it's almost like what we've done with ourselves. We do everything, and maybe we're not the best at all of it, but we feel like it all needs done. So we're going to figure it all out. Well, if we're trying to hire and delegate and grow our team, it's going to be very helpful to identify what are the main skill sets, like what are their zones of genius, and helping hire to that zone of genius, like the most important vital metric of that role, so it can be fulfilled. Okay. 100%. That's really helpful, rather than I need 18 things done and Sally's mom can probably do all of them. Let's just call her up.
Right.
Looking for someone who's maybe a specialist or an expert in something and hiring multiple people part-time. You recently were somewhat of a fractional CEO for somebody who's going through a big transition in business. And you could do it all, but it was not all what you wanted to do, but you were able to help find what needed to be done, work backwards, put out the fires and do that. So speaking of that kind of thing, I would love it if you close this out sharing one of your favorite success stories of a client you worked with. If they're able to, if you keep any details that are private aside, or just tell me the biggest success story or like your proudest accomplishment in what you've been able to do with a client in your 15 years of coaching.
Oh, I love this. Oh my gosh, there really is so many.
I would say one of your favorite recent one, whatever you want.
I know the most recent one was an entrepreneur. Business was growing, overwhelmed and super stressed, and a mom too. And really like not able to really be a mom because we know all of it. Single mom, like that's the hardest part too. Like there's nobody at home to help you do that. And I actually saved the voice note that she sent me. She was crying and in tears. Like it makes me so, she's like, I'm just so grateful for all of the work that we have done that have allowed me. She goes, I went to conferences and hung out with my kids tonight for the first time in over 6 months. Yeah. She's like, I can't even thank you enough for allowing that container. She goes, because it was constantly things that I knew I had to do in the back of my head, like that I was not able to fully be present. She's like, I was fully present for the first time.
That's pretty impactful. That's a huge impact. Yeah. And I want to just spotlight the fact that one of your recent proudest accomplishments was giving somebody a little peace of mind, time back in their day, a chance to connect in a loving way with people that matter to them. There's no dollar amount we can place on that. Yeah. And it might not be impressive in the world of business, in the world of commerce, to say this person was able to spend a little time, really undivided attention with their children. But I want to just spotlight that is incredibly significant. And even if any of the entrepreneurs or people listening to this don't have children or don't have a partner, there's another really valuable person that you can spend time connecting with undivided and undistracted, and that's yourself. So 100%. No matter who it is that we stop and give more time to, that is an invaluable gift that you described that you've been able to coach someone to. So thank you for sharing that. I think it's more impressive than a lot of maybe more quantifiable metrics that others might want to spotlight. So thank you for sharing that. We're going to have in the show notes different ways that people can connect with you and work with you, but I do want you to tell us a little bit about some of the projects you're working on. You also just launched a podcast recently, The Best Kept Small Business Secrets. Tell me what people will look forward to hearing there, and also anywhere else people who are interested in learning more about your work can find you.
Yeah, the podcast just stemmed from, I have gotten the opportunity now to like peek in the windows of over 100 businesses, hundreds of businesses at this point. And every single business has such uniqueness to them. And it's the people behind that heart that allows them to do what they're doing. And I'm like, there's no cookie cutter. There's no secret sauce of this. It's like the people that are driven behind it. So I'm like, I just coming in and having conversations about what gets people excited and why they do what they do and what they have done to build successful businesses, and just sharing. Because I think when I first came into coaching, I felt like everybody's on these little islands and there's not nearly enough, like, we're all in this together. Like, we don't need to shoot inwards, like, let's just share. And so my goal with it is just to really allow people to gain some nuggets and to really like find something that they might not have thought before. Like, same thing you're doing on this I feel like our podcasts are very similar, my dear. Like, they're probably going to be, I'm going to have you on mine soon. Like, I feel like there's stuff here, but like, so that is what I'm just excited about, is really just allowing people to hop in when they can and when they want to, and learn some fun business things. And they don't have to spend 1 million hours in a course learning things, right? Like, if it resonates, take it.
Very focused on business and your business secrets that we're going to learn from basically people that you coach or people that you know and look up to in business. Mm-hmm. Everybody's got something, like you said, to share, a nugget that they've learned. And so if we can take those into bite-sized pieces with a growth mindset, we might actually turn out to be somebody someday, it sounds like, right?
Someday, maybe. Who knows anymore? I don't know.
Don't hold your breath, but I want to just say thank you so much for the time you spent connecting with me today and sharing a little bit about your work and what you're so passionate about doing in your work with women business owners. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you everyone for listening to my beautiful and brilliant friend, Nicole.
Bye.